Welcome back, guys. We are again discussing about writing a proposal, and I hope some of you have already gotten into it and are having fun with it, but I still have to continue so that we can get this together. Thank you for watching again, and continue encouraging your friends to get to this channel and learn from it. Thank you. Manipulated information that is truthful, because that's what we want in a study. You want the views of the participant, not yours. That's why we always talk about bracketing, that you as the researcher, you need to exclude yourself from the views so that your views does not distort the views of the participant. So if you think about the population and the sampling method, this is where, again, as you are doing this proposal, you need to find books that you can read which are focused on research methods. I'm gonna find resources for you to post on my YouTube so that you can use those books to read. There are so many books out there. So on each section, for example, if you're talking about population and sampling, you can actually go to Google Scholar, go to look for, just put in the words population and sampling, qualitative research. You'll find articles that explain. And as you are doing this proposal, remember, by now I think you have also opened a Word document where you have put subheadings, and then you have a reference section. When you find an article or whatever resource you use, please remember to save your reference right away, because references have a tendency to disappear when you need them. So if you say, well, I'll write first, then I'll come back to look for reference, that's a bad method. I'm telling you from my mistakes I've made before. So save your reference right away so that you don't miss them again as when you need them. And then after talking about your population and your sampling methods, you can now talk about a research instrument. Someone can say now, what is that research instrument? So in qualitative research, usually we use those same questions you listed in your research questions section, which is usually 1.4 something. But don't worry about the numbers, because it depends with how you format your document. But I'm just saying, for me, the best way to use when you are doing qualitative research is just to cut and paste those research questions from your document, and that's what you are going to use now. Those open-ended questions, you are going to use them to ask your participants. And what instrument you use? Of course, there are some arguments. Some people say they don't know what interview guide is, but if you go and look to say qualitative research instruments, you see that there's what we call interview guide. An interview guide is just a set of questions, and it's a guide, as it says, because your questions can change as you probe your participant. So you can say on this research instrument, I'm going to use an interview guide for qualitative research. If you're going to use a questionnaire, you can say that as well. If you're going to use, wherever you're going to get data, that's what we want you to say here and how you're going to get that data. Then another important section which you need to have here is data collection and analysis. Why do we need to talk about data analysis? Because the purpose of us gathering data is for us to know, to gather it and then analyze it. So if you're in qualitative research, you should focus on, you gathered your data. Let's say you did a face-to-face interview, you transcribed it, and then you do thematic analysis, where now you are looking at the themes present in the data. And using that data, now you analyze your data by writing those themes to show what you found out from the study. Same applies when you're doing a quantitative analysis. In most cases, some people can use Excel to analyze the data. Let's say you're doing regression analysis, or you can use SPSS, where you take your data and put it in the system, and just within a minute you can click evaluate or analyze, and then it will give you tables and so forth. Your duty now is to interpret those tables. So you can talk about how you are going to use tables and why do you use tables. There are sources out there who says tables make it easy to understand data, because it's a summary of the data. We don't need to see how you did thematic analysis, but it would be better if you did your own table where you say by participant, this participant said this, and identify the theme, and write that theme. Then you can put together all the themes which are similar and then use them now to do your analysis in chapter 4, in chapter 5 and 4. So the other thing you need to write about here is definition of terms. Why do we need definition of terms? Because in each study, certain words can mean differently because of the way you are using them. So we need you to define your words which you are going to use based on how they are going to apply in your study. So that's what is very important on definition of terms. And the definition of terms section can grow as you go, because you might realize that there's a term I left, but now I need it in here, and you include it. The other thing, which is not the last thing, is summary. You want to summarize what you have discussed in your proposal, so that in a summary, someone can just understand what you're writing about. But like I said, some schools might say that in the proposal, you need to discuss a bit about your study findings. What do you expect to find? So that the reader can understand that you understand more about the topic. And it's very important also to write about things you have interest. Like, let's say you are someone with visual impairment, and this is something you have lived yourself. You can actually write about it, because you can say the researcher from personal experience have experienced this, that. And it makes more better when the researcher is also a research instrument. You are a research instrument because you are also providing your insights because of your experience. So the other thing is that I said it at the beginning that if you don't want to have reference in your proposal, because some supervisor might say that I don't want the reference, leave them out. Have a separate document which you can entitle proposal references and put time and date. Put the date so that you don't forget when you wrote it, and save it in your computer so that when your proposal comes back and the teacher tells you that, or your supervisor tells you that, well, you can go ahead and write chapter 1. Now you can do chapter 1. But there's something very good about writing a proposal. Writing a proposal is a head start for writing chapter 1, because most of these sections are in chapter 1. The only section you will remove from here is on methodology, and the other section you talk about is on literature review. So I hope this is gonna be helpful for you guys, and once again, I appreciate you coming to my channel and view whatever I'm posting here. But I'm really here for you guys. I'm here to help you and to guide you so that this process becomes easier. I want to at least give something to society so that in future we have more people interested in doing research, more people interested in doing masters, doing PhDs, especially in the British system, where for your PhD you just write one research paper. This is doable, my friends. Don't be scared. And if you have a question, I'm not saying I know it all, but I'm saying whatever I can help, I'm here to help. And please, if you know other people who are struggling with writing research, please share with them my link and tell them subscribe and like, and share also with their friends. This is free. Sometimes people think that when you hear subscribe that you are going to pay. I don't want you to pay anything. I just want you to learn from this and benefit for free of charge. So thank you very much. See you in the next chapter.